So how far would you go for a taste of fall? Yeah, cool air, cozy sweaters, and of course, the vibrant colors right outside your window.
Check, check, check. I want all of that. Leaf peepers are getting ready for one of Mother Nature's greatest color shows, fall foliage. And to get some of the best views, you may need to travel a little further than the backyard.
So whether you prefer perhaps your views with sparkling lake waters or perhaps sweeping mountain views, today's guest, well, they know just the place.
Joining us with some of the country's best side quests for leaf peepers is travel expert Lauren Gumport from Faye Travel Insurance. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's start in New England, of course, iconic when it comes to the fall color, vibrant colors there. What else draws travelers to this region during the fall?
I mean, I will say there is nothing like fall in New England. I went to college in Boston, so I should know. Apple picking, cider donuts, all a huge yes. For a top-notch road trip this season to see autumn leaves and, those small, quaint towns, I would say that the New England Loop is your best bet. So this can take you from Massachusetts to Maine, then to New Hampshire and into Vermont. So my suggestion is begin in Boston, start in the city, explore the Freedom Trail in the North End, maybe take a duck tour on the Charles River. If you don't know what that is, definitely Google it and book your tickets. I would then drive into Portland, Maine. You have the coastal charm, the lighthouses, the seafood. Obviously, don't miss out on having a lobster roll or two. And when in Maine, I would head to Acadia National Park. Very scenic hikes on the coast. And a fun fact is that this national park is dog friendly. You can bring your best four-legged friend and they can become a Acadia bark ranger. I did it last year. It was incredible. If you have the time, head into the White Mountains in New Hampshire. You get waterfalls and Mount Washington, which happens to be the highest peak in the U.S. And of course, we can't talk about New England without mentioning Vermont, specifically Stowe, Vermont, which is where Ben & Jerry's is from. You can visit the Ben & Jerry's factory. And then after you get a scoop of ice cream, go on some green mountain hikes. So that is my New England road trip tip for you.
You had me at donuts and now ice cream as well.
I know.
All right, let's go a little farther south. The Blue Ridge Parkway, another place for stunning fall views, but with the Helene recovery still ongoing, some people may be on the fence. So what would you say to entice visitors to give this area a try?
Yeah, so some of the Parkway does remain closed following Helene, but if you're still hoping to do a Blue Ridge Parkway road trip this year, no worries, you still can. I know that the National Park Service has reopened some sections and they're working on a full recovery project due for fall 2026. So in some areas, you may need to hop off the Parkway, but it's completely manageable. I actually did this road trip a few years back. Start where I did, base yourself in Asheville, North Carolina for a night or two. From there, go to Pisgah National Forest and Mount Mitchell. You can take the local highways. You have popular waterfalls. Again, we're talking about nature, like Looking Glass Falls and also Graveyard Fields, and they are open. I would then make your way to Blowing Rock and Boone, North Carolina. Those are the quaint towns with access to Grandfather Mountain and the famous mile-high swinging bridge. Boone is a bustling city that's home to Appalachian State University. Again, you're going to get sweeping Appalachian views and the autumn colors if you're going on this road trip. Then when you drive into Virginia, you don't want to miss the Blue Ridge Music Center where you can get some live Appalachian music and some history exhibits. And then, of course, take a picture at Mabry Mill. It's one of the most photographed spots on the Parkway. It's a historic mill. You can also head to Abbott Lake, which is really popular for hiking. And then towards the tail end of your trip. And really for all of these road trips, I would say minimum 7 days. If you can stretch it, go to 2 weeks. There's a lot of beauty. Head to Roanoke, Virginia. Great spot for food, culture, nearby trails. And then end at Shenandoah National Park for an iconic, gorgeous drive.
All right, so what if we're looking to add a little adventure to our trip? I know you mentioned a few of the waterfalls there that you can see along the Appalachians, but say you want to chase some bigger waterfalls. Where should you go?
Okay, so I just did this road trip this year. Maybe not, there were waterfalls, but it's kind of wild nature, wild terrain. So I did the Columbia River Gorge type of road trip. So you're hitting Oregon and Washington, mix of waterfalls, rivers, and fall foliage. But I would say if you are going to Oregon and Washington, you are doing two things, indulging in nature and indulging in beer, okay? You will get a lot of both if you do this road trip. I suggest you start in Oregon, hike Columbia River Gorge, and Molten Oak Falls. If you're into glamping rather than camping, so you want a nice mattress and not to be rained on. I would suggest staying at under canvas Columbia River Gorge. I've stayed at most of the under canvas locations. You get to sleep under the stars in upscale glamping tents. Then when you drive into Washington, if you have the time, hit up 2 national parks. So you're asking about waterfalls, amazing nature. Olympic National Park is stunning. I would go to hike Hurricane Ridge, Hoh Rainforest, Rialto Beach. And by the way, this is where they filmed Twilight, okay, in Forks, Washington. So there's that Hollywood aspect as well. Make sure if you're doing all of this, get some travel insurance. Things can go wrong on domestic road trips, and you want to make sure you have peace of mind.
Oof, wow. We ran out of things to write down. There is so much great information. Thank you so much. Great segment here with travel expert Lauren Gumport from Faye Travel Insurance. Thanks for stopping by.